Good afternoon. The special Louisville Metro Council organizational meeting of January 9th, 2025 will please come to order. The time is currently 4:08 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being held pursuant to KRS 61.826 and Council Rule 5A. Colleagues, before we begin, first of all, thank you for joining me tonight. And as we prepare to recognize our newly elected council members, we must also recognize that today has been named a National Day of Mourning for President Jimmy Carter. President Carter passed away on December 29th at 100 years old. And although he's remembered during his presidency for the Camp David Accords, the creation of the Department of Energy, and the Department of Education, he's probably best known for his work after leaving office. In 2002, he became the third president to win the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his work advancing democracy, seeking peaceful solutions to international conflicts, and for his humanitarian initiatives through Habitat for Humanity. He was a man of faith, serving as a champion of human rights even through his 90s. Please join me in a moment of silence as we remember the life and service of former President Jimmy Carter. Thank you. We'll recognize the page in just a minute because it's Councilman Benson's page, so we'll shift the order just a second. Colleagues, our first order of business is reading of the certificates of election. One election certificate will be read in its entirety, and then the results of each council district will be read. Madam Clerk, can you please read the certificate?
Board of Elections, Jefferson County, Kentucky, Certificate of Election. We, the undersigned, duly authorized to canvass the returns, do hereby certify the general election held in Jefferson County on November the 5th, 2024. Barbara E. Shanklin, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 2nd District, was duly elected to fill said office. Witness our hands this 30th day of December 2024 at Jefferson County, Kentucky. Bobby Hostclaw, Chairperson, Colonel John Avery, Sheriff, Linda Huber, Republican member, and Carl Benzinger, Democratic member. The remaining certificates of election certifying the following. Ken Hurden, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council District 4th District, was duly elected to fill said office. J.P. Leninger, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 6th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Ben Reno Weber, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 8th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Josie Raymond, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 10th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Jonathan J.J. Joseph, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 12th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Crystal Bast, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 14th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Scott W. Reed, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 16th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Marilyn Parker, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 18th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Stuart Benson, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 20th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Kevin D. Bratcher, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 22nd District, was duly elected to fill said office. Jenny Mulvey Woolridge, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 24th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Brent T. Ackerson, having received the highest number of votes cast for the office of Metro Council 26th District, was duly elected to fill said office. Read in full.
I would now like to welcome Division I Circuit Court Judge Eric Hayner to conduct the oath of office.
Metro Council members, are you prepared to take the oath? Yes. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth and the ordinances of the Louisville, Jefferson County Metro Government, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky, so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of councilperson according to law and ordinance, and do you further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution, that you, being a citizen of this Commonwealth, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this Commonwealth, nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, and do you further solemnly swear or affirm that you have the qualifications and are free of the disqualifications prescribed in Section 67C.143 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes? Yes. Congratulations.
Ben, I love the tie. Bravo. Nice. Looks good. Scott, well done, sir.
Congrats, sir.
Another year together.
I was going to have do the Archbishop. He's going to stand up front. You can turn it to him. Yes. Colleagues, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege and introduce Archbishop Shelton Fobb to bless the seating of our new Metro Council. Archbishop, you have the floor.
Together let us pray. O God of power and might, God of wisdom and justice, in you mercy we receive, and you govern and direct all things. And through you authority is rightly administered, laws are enacted, and judgment is decreed. Graciously receive the prayers we now offer to you for the members of the Louisville Metro Council. Grant them success in the exercise of their respective offices. May they be keenly attentive to the voices and aware of the needs of their neighbors in our local communities. Strengthen in them the resolve to serve the needs of all people in our communities. May the discussions and deliberations among them be respectful, and may their concern be for the common good and for the benefit of all people. Keep them ever mindful of your desire to assist them in forging a way forward in spite of challenges. Good and gracious God, hear our prayers for these new and returning members of the Louisville Metro Council, and grant that they may be enabled by your wisdom and by your guidance to lead with honesty and with integrity for the good of all people. For you are the one God, living and true, now and forever. And to you we make this prayer. Amen. Thank you. Congratulations. God bless you all. Be assured of my prayers.
Thank you, Archbishop. Madam Clerk, a roll call, please.
Councilmember Hawkins. Councilmember Shanklin. Councilmember Parrish Wright.
Present.
Councilmember Herndon. Thank you. Councilmember Purvis.
Present.
Councilmember Leninger.
Present.
Councilmember McCraney.
Here.
Councilmember Reno Weber.
Here.
Councilmember Owen.
Here.
Councilmember Raymond.
Here.
Councilmember Kramer.
Here.
Councilmember Joseph.
Here.
Councilmember Syme. Councilmember Bast.
Here.
Councilmember Chappell. Councilmember Reed.
Here.
President Winkler.
Here.
Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Piagentini.
Here.
Councilmember Benson.
Present.
Councilmember Rui.
Here.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Here.
Councilmember Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Here.
Councilmember Batshon.
Here.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Here.
Mr. President, you have 25 and a quorum.
Thank you. Please let the record reflect we'll be joined momentarily by Councilwoman Chapel. She just stepped out for a moment. Colleagues, again, congratulations to all of our newly elected members, and I'm happy to see our returning council members, and I hope that everybody will join me in welcoming all of our new folks. The next item of business is special legislation. I left one thing off, Councilman Benson. I'm so sorry. Councilman Benson, I believe you have a special guest.
I do. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Gunner, this is my grandson, Gunner Dehart. He goes to Echo Trail Middle School. He's a tremendous athlete. He's a heck of a baseball player. He plays the sax. I mean, he's going to give Boots Randolph a challenge, I think. But he's my youngest of all my grandsons, and he lights up the room when he walks in. You know, not that all my grandsons, but he's just a special kid. I love him dearly. And I've got a couple, just for a moment. Usually I don't say much, but Asher, Lynn, stand up here. In the last 22 years, I've had all my grandsons and granddaughter as pages, and they love me. I'm really blessed. Asher Lynn, he graduated University of Louisville. He's a great kid. Right, is Will, you beside him, Will? Stand up. Will Dehart, he's a freshman at UK. Graduated from Eastern, he got his pilot's license. And Stuart, my daughter, she's hard up for names. Stuart, he's a junior at Eastern High School, great kid. William, he's a sophomore at St. X, straight A students, gonna go to Annapolis. Anyway, I'm just really blessed. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman Benson, and congratulations to you. Yeah, so colleagues, we have an interpreter here tonight. He's going to just kind of, there's a group of people that he wants to get into the same place so that he can interpret in a concise manner. So if you could just bear with us for just a second.
Okay. Las personas que hablan español, por favor, se pueden correr y sentar en la parte de más atrás, en las últimas dos líneas, para yo poder interpretar para ustedes. Do you want me to let everybody else move a couple of rows forward?
Yes. We have an interpreter, so maybe you can.
Yeah, I think you just want them all in the same section, right? So
Yes.
you can speak to them. Yes. So I think they're. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if we can just help play some musical chairs and let everybody kind of sit together, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Daniel, when you're ready, if you could just give me a thumbs up. Colleagues, the next item of business is special legislation. Pursuant to Council Rule 7.01A, we need a 2/3 vote to consider item number one as an emergency. Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, may I have a motion and a second? Properly moved by Councilman Piagentini, second by Councilman Syme. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Madam Clerk, a reading of item one.
An emergency ordinance relating to the zoning of properties located at 8107 through 8119 Minor Lane containing approximately 97 acres and being in Louisville Metro. Case number 24 Zone 0110. Read in full.
Could I get a motion and second? Motion by Councilman Syme, second by Councilman Batchon. Is there any discussion? Councilman Reed, I'm going to call on you as the returning Vice Chair of Planning and Zoning if you want to set this up, or if you just want to kick it over to Councilman Syme.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I'll defer to my colleague, Councilman Syme.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Syme?
Thank you, Councilman Reed. This is a case that we've been working on. It's been a tough one, a tough vote, but first I want to thank my colleagues for coming to the aid and pledging their support. I also want to thank the applicants, Core 5 and Attorney Cliff Asperger, for trying to work this through and help these folks that are going to be moving. Again, it was a tough case. We have 56 families that are being relocated in this process. We do have some context to the case and amendment, and I'd like for Travis Schuster to explain for you. Travis, if you would, please.
So the amendment is on the system. It would be added to the end of section, binding element number 6, subsection B. Binding element 6 was amended last time we were here. Just as a brief background, especially for the new members. This was introduced at the last meeting. It was tabled, so it's coming up again. But the previous sponsor, Councilwoman Flood, retired, and so the item technically died. That's why the emergency legislation is back in front of us. I've got the language here already that Council added last time, and now there would be this additional sentence added to the end of binding element 6B. It would read as follows. The housing counselor shall also have a fund of $56,000 to provide assistance to residents for relocation expenses, including temporary lodging, food, or other expenses residents would not have incurred but for the relocation. And so unlike the existing funds of $6,000 for owners and $2,400 for renters, this new funding would be for those sort of other related expenses that occur in a move, and on a discretionary basis. Obviously, some people will be impacted more significantly than others, just depending on what they have available, what the condition of their trailer is, et cetera. So this funding would now also be available on a discretionary basis to be administered by the housing counselor. I'm happy to answer any other questions, but I think that's sort of the background and what this new language proposes.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, this is an ordinance. Go ahead. Yes. Councilman Chapel, you're in the queue. Sorry, I looked away.
Perfectly fine, President. I was just wondering, who is the housing counselor? Maybe that was outlined. I'm just curious how this was handled because it's interesting. I'm not saying I'm against it, but I was just wondering how that's defined and who that's identified as.
So there was discussion of this at the Planning Commission. I know at the time there was an employee of the applicant who was going to serve in that role. I believe that they may have since contracted out this service with some individuals who have more professional housing experience, that's sort of a dedicated firm, but I don't have those exact details. But they're working on it in association with PDS staff to make sure the binding elements are being adhered to and proceed smoothly, as smoothly as possible.
Any other questions? If there's no further discussion, this is an ordinance requiring a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please open the voting.
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Shank, okay.
Madam Clerk, did we already vote on the amendment? I apologize.
That's right. I'm sorry, sir. We have not voted on the amendment. Can we hold the?
Is it? I'm sorry. The whole ordinance is not the.
So this is a new amendment that they've added.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So, do you want to make the amendment?
I'd like to make a motion to.
Thank you. Okay. The amendment has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now the amended ordinance is before us. It's an ordinance requiring a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, please open the voting.
I'm sorry. Can you help the translator? Let him have the floor first.
I can only clarify anything that's been said. I mean, I can't really answer any other questions.
Councilmember Shanklin? Okay, Councilmember Parrish Wright?
Yes.
Councilmember Herndon?
Yes.
Councilmember Purvis? Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember McCraney?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilmember Reno Weber?
Yes.
What are you up to over there? Councilmember Ackerson?
Yes.
Mr. President, you have 24 yes votes, 1 no vote, and 1 present vote.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted. Madam Clerk, please cause the record to reflect that President Pro Tem Hawkins will assume the chair to conduct the election of the Metro Council President.
Thank you.
You ready? All right. Our next order of business is the election of the Metro Council President. In just a moment, I will open the floor for nominations. Nominations does not require a second. You do not have to be nominated to receive a vote. Once nominations are closed, the clerk will conduct a voice roll call vote. Please cast your vote by stating the name of the council member you are voting for. First candidate to win a simple majority, 14 votes, will be our 2025 Metro Council President. In the event no candidate receives the required number of votes, we will reopen the nominations and continue to vote until one candidate has received a minimum of 14 votes. Are there any questions? Nominations are now in order.
Madam Pro Tem, it's my honor to nominate a person who has extensive institutional knowledge to help guide us into this new year, and who had the respect of every member of this council to call them and discuss his ideas for leading this council in 2025. So it's my honor to nominate my friend and colleague, Councilman Kevin Kramer.
Are there any further nominations?
I'd like to nominate Marcus Winkler.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any more nominations? Hearing none, without objection, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin.
Marcus Winkler.
One moment, I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. Councilmember Parrish Wright.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Leninger.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Owen.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bass.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Chapel.
You skipped two people.
Oh, hold on, I'm at the very bottom. Sorry, Councilmember Joseph.
Councilman Kramer.
Sorry. Councilmember Syme.
Kevin Kramer.
Now let me go back up here. Councilwoman Bass, I have yours. Councilmember Chapel.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Reed.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parker.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Piagentini.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Benson.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Rui.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Batshon.
Councilman Kramer.
Councilmember Ackerson.
I vote present.
Yes, sir. Madam Pro Tem, President Pro Tem, you have 12 votes for Councilman Kramer and 13 votes for Councilman Winkler, and one present vote.
No candidate has received the necessary 14 votes. We must now reopen nominations. Nominations are now in order.
I nominate Marcus Winkler.
I nominate Kevin Kramer.
One second, let me get this.
Are there any other further nominations?
Hold on one second for me.
Are there any more further nominations? Hearing none, without objections, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parrish Wright,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Leninger,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Rena Weber,
President Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Owen,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Joseph,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Syme,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bast,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Chapel, I could do it any day. Councilmember Chapel,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Reed,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler.
Marcus Winkler.
Hold on one second. Councilmember Parker,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Piagentini,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Benson,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Rui.
That's not what I heard.
Did you say Councilman Winkler? No, I'm sorry.
Kevin Kramer. Kevin Kramer.
I'm talking about Councilwoman Rui. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Councilmember Bratcher,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson,
Councilman Kramer.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Batshon,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Ackerson.
I vote present.
Madam President Pro Tem, you have 12 votes for Councilman Kramer, 13 votes for Councilmember Winkler.
Still no candidate has received the necessary 14 votes. We must now reopen nominations. Nominations are now in order. Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Kevin Kramer.
I nominate Marcus Winkler.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, without objection, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parrish Wright,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis, Councilmember Leninger,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Owen,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Joseph,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Syme,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bast,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Chapel,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Reed,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parker, Councilmember Piagentini,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Benson,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Rui,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson,
Councilman Kramer.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Batshon,
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Present.
Madam Pro Tem, President Pro Tem, we have 12 votes for Councilman Kramer and 13 votes for Councilman Winkler.
Again, no candidate has received the necessary 14 votes. We must reopen the nominations. Nominations are now in order. Are there any? Call the roll, Madam Clerk, please.
We want to take the nominations.
Are there any further nominations?
I nominate Marcus Winkler.
I nominate Kevin Kramer.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Last time. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, without objections, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parrish Wright.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Leninger.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber.
Marcus May Inklerway.
Councilmember Owen.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Joseph.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Syme.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bast.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Chapel.
Winkler.
Councilmember Reed.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler.
Winkler.
Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Piagentini.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Benson.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Rui.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson.
Councilman Brent Ackerson.
One moment, let me add that in there. Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Batshon.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Brent Ackerson.
Madam President Pro Tem, we have 13 votes for Councilman Winkler, 10 votes for Councilman Kramer, and 3 votes for Councilman Ackerson.
Again, no candidate has received the necessary 14 votes. We must now reopen nominations. Nominations are now in order. Are there any further nominations?
Marcus Winkler.
I nominate Kevin Kramer, please.
Are there any further nominations?
I nominate Brent Ackerson.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, without objection, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Parrish Wright.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis.
Winkler.
Councilmember Leninger.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney.
Councilman Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Owen.
Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Joseph.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Syme.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bast.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Chapel.
Marcus B. Winkler.
Councilmember Reed.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Piagentini.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Benson.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Rui.
Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson.
Councilman Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Batshon.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Brent Ackerson.
Madam President Pro Tem, you have 12 votes for Councilman Winkler, 10 votes for Councilman Kramer, and 4 votes for Councilman Ackerson.
No candidate has still received the necessary 14. We must now reopen the nominations. Nominations are now in order. Are there any further nominations?
I nominate Kevin Kramer.
I nominate Marcus Winkler.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any more nominations? Hearing none, without objection, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilman Kramer. I'm sorry, Councilman. Let me just start. It's a lot to keep track of. Councilmember Hawkins.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Parrish Wright.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis.
Winkler.
Councilmember Leninger.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney.
Councilman Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber.
Marcus B. Winkler.
Councilmember Owen.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Joseph.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Syme.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bast.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Chapel.
Winkler.
Councilmember Reed.
The Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler.
Winkler.
Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Piagentini.
Kramer?
Councilmember Benson.
Kramer.
Councilmember Rui.
Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Batshon.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Brent Ackerson.
Madam President Pro Tem, you have 10 votes for Councilmember Kramer, 13 votes for Councilmember Winkler, and 3 votes for Councilmember Ackerson.
No candidate has received the necessary 14. We must now reopen nominations. Nominations are now in order. Are there any further nominations?
Marcus Winkler.
Kevin Kramer?
I'll nominate myself, Brent Ackerson.
Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, without objection, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Parrish Wright.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis.
Winkler.
Councilmember Leninger.
Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney.
Councilman Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber.
Councilman Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Owen.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Kramer.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Joseph.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Syme.
Kevin Kramer.
Councilmember Bast.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Chapel.
Winkler.
Councilmember Reed.
Kramer.
Councilmember Winkler.
Winkler.
Councilmember Parker. Will you do me one favor and say that into your open? Thank you. So I have
Brent
it.
Ackerson.
Thank you. Councilmember Piagentini.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Benson.
Brett Ackerson.
Councilmember Rui.
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Kramer.
Councilmember Hudson.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Batshon.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Brent Ackerson.
Madam President Pro Tem, you have 13 votes for Councilmember Winkler, 2 votes for Councilmember Kramer and 11 votes, one moment. I'm sorry, that was 3 for Councilmember Kramer and 11 votes for Councilmember Ackerson.
No candidate has received the necessary 14 votes. We must now reopen the nominations. Nominations are now in order. Are there any further nominations?
That can't be right. That's 27 votes.
Marcus
Motion.
Winkler.
Motion to recess?
Madam Clerk, do I need a second? All right. Okay, I need a vote for it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
The noes win.
I'd like to request a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilmember Parrish Wright?
The vote is for the recess, yes.
Yes. Councilmember Ackerson?
No.
And Madam Clerk, can you record my vote because I'm signed in up
Yeah,
there?
that's right. I'm so
Yes.
sorry, sir.
Yes, please.
I have you as a yes. Councilwoman Hawkins, do you like to be a yes as well? Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Councilman Benson's a no. Make sure I've got them all recorded. Councilmember Herndon?
Yes.
Madam President, Tim, you have a 13 to 13 vote, which means this fails. So we aren't going to recess.
Nominations are now in order. Are there any further nominations?
Marcus
I'll nominate
Winkler.
myself. I'll nominate Brent Ackerson.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations?
Did you hear my Marcus Winkler?
I did not, I'm sorry.
We didn't.
Thank you. I have Councilman Ackerson and Councilman Winkler.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, without objection, the nominations are now closed. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hawkins,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Shanklin,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Parrish Wright,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Herndon,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Purvis, yes, ma'am. Councilmember Leninger,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember McCraney,
Winkler.
Councilmember Reno Weber, sugar. Councilmember Owen,
Winkler.
Councilmember Raymond,
Marcus Winkler.
that was Winkler, okay. Councilmember Kramer,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Joseph,
Ackerson.
Councilmember Syme,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Bast,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Chapel,
Winkler.
Councilmember Reed,
Ackerson.
Councilmember Winkler,
Winkler.
Councilmember Parker,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Piagentini,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Benson,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Rui,
Marcus Winkler.
Councilmember Bratcher.
Ackerson.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Rui, you said Winkler? Yes. Thank you. Councilmember Hudson,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Mulvey Woolridge,
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Batchon.
Brent Ackerson.
Councilmember Ackerson.
Brent Ackerson.
Madam President Pro Tem, Councilmember, one moment. Councilwoman Purvis. I'm back to you for your vote, ma'am. You could vote present.
Yeah. You don't need to.
Okay, so that's okay. So, Councilmember Reno Weber,
Marcus Winkler.
and now Councilmember Purvis. Yes, ma'am. Councilmember Ackerson has 14 votes, and Councilmember Winkler has 11 votes. Is that what you have, sir? Madam President Pro Tem, Councilmember Ackerson has 15 votes, and Councilmember Winkler has 11 votes.
Congratulations. Our new president for 2025 is Brent Ackerson.
Thank you, colleagues. Since I am not present, I'm going to ask the President Pro Tem to continue to control this meeting.
Madam Clerk, please cause the record to reflect that, oh, well, I don't have to relinquish the seat. I got it. Council members, Majority Caucus Chair and Minority Caucus Chair, at the conclusion of this meeting, will you please go over to the mayor's office and alert him the Metro Council has been organized and is in session for 2025. Our next order of business is the election of the Metro Council Clerk. Nominations can be made from the floor and do not require a second. Once nominations are closed, the clerk will conduct a voice vote. The first candidate to win a simple majority of 14 votes will be our 2025 Metro Council Clerk. Are there any questions? Nominations are now in order.
Madam Pro Tem, nominate Sonia Harward.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, without objections, the nominations are now closed. With only one nomination, all those in favor of Sonia Howard serving as the 2025 Metro Council Clerk, please say yes.
Yes. All right, yes.
Congratulations, Sonia. You are our 2025 Metro Council Clerk. Please come forward, Sonia, so you can be sworn in by the Assistant Jefferson County Clerk, Holly Hopkins.
Oh.
Word solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and of this Commonwealth and the ordinances of the Louisville, Jefferson County Metro Government, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof. And do you further solemnly swear to faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of clerk according to law and ordinance, and further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution, you, being a citizen of this Commonwealth, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this Commonwealth nor out of it, nor sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending. And do you further solemnly swear or affirm that you have the qualifications and are free of the disqualifications prescribed in Section 67C 143 and of the Kentucky Revised Statutes? Do you swear? I do. Thank you.
Next, we have the approval of the council minutes for the regular meeting of December the 12th, 2024. Are there any corrections or deletions? May I have a motion and a
Motion.
second for approval? The minutes have been properly moved, and the second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next, we have the approval of the following committee minutes. Regular Committee of the Whole, December 12, 2004. Are there any corrections or deletions? May I have a motion and a second for the approval?
Second.
The minutes have been properly moved and second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The next item of business is new business. As you leave the chambers, please do so quietly so the clerk may read new business. I would ask those council members that wish to make announcements, please remain in the chambers and request to speak on your system under announcements. New business comprise items 6 through 12. Will the clerk read those items and their assignments to the committee?
The following legislation is assigned to Labor, Economic Development, and Appropriations Committee. Item 6, an ordinance appropriating $2,000 from neighborhood development funds in the following manner: $2,000 from District 21 through the Office of Management and Budget to the Louisville Community Design Center, Inc. for costs associated with Lucille Leggett Neighborhood Institute. Item 7, an ordinance appropriating $11,600 from District 21 neighborhood development funds through Brightside, Inc. to Action Landscape, Inc. for beautification and landscaping on Lucas Avenue and Durrett Lane. Item 8, a resolution ratifying and approving a collective bargaining agreement from the date of approval of the Louisville Jefferson County Metro Council to June 30th, 2026, relating to wages, benefits, and other items and conditions of employment between Louisville Jefferson County Metro Government and Teamsters Local Union Number 783, affiliate to the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, concerning certain employees of the Department of Public Works and Assets, the Department of Codes and Regulations, Metro Police Department, Facilities and Fleet Management Department, and Parking Authority of River City Department. The following legislation was assigned to Planning and Zoning Committee. Item number 9, an ordinance amending Section 11.4.7 of the Louisville Metro Land Development Code, LDC, regarding neighborhood meeting requirements for revised development plans, case number 24-LDC-0009. Item 10, an ordinance amending the Louisville Metro Land Development Code, LDC, regarding zoning enforcement, case number 24-LDC-0011. Item 11, an ordinance relating to the zoning of property located at 338 North 25th Street, containing approximately 1.44 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 24 zone 0085. Item 12, an ordinance relating to the zoning of property located at 4217 Taylor Boulevard, containing approximately 0.334 acres and being in Louisville Metro, case number 24 zone 0117. Read in full.
Next, we have announcements. That concludes our meeting. Our next council meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January the 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. With no further business to discuss, without objection, we stand to adjourn.